Testing 1, 2. Today's ultimate prosumer kind of comparison. I've been buying kind of like the professional kind of camera gear. At the same time, it's like the consumer level. So today's the ultimate comparison of these two. Alright, so first is the camera. It's been with me since the beginning. Well, not technically beginning of film, like kind of video making. A7S3 from Sony. Very powerful camera. Many people use it. So the comparison is the one that's been pointing at me right now from my good friend David. That's his FX3. So this has been like the very popular kind of a comparison between these two cameras, because technically, well, they're using the same sensor. Sony says they are literally almost the same camera. Many projects we have been using these two as A/B camera. Most time, so FX3 as A cam, and we've been like kind of intercutting these two footage. And from experience saying, there's very minimal difference between these two cameras in terms of footage. Like we mesh it together, you wouldn't tell. We wouldn't have to do any like particular adjustment to adjust the footage to make them look the same. You slap it together, they are pretty much the same. The price difference is minimum as well. I think it's less than 200 bucks or something. It's not that much of a difference. Right now, I think this is becoming cheaper because less people are buying it. To the difference, the biggest difference I've had is that this is a really good vlog camera. Like if you're going to travel, if you're going to run and gun shooting, this works a lot better than FX3. So for wedding work, even for like some run and gun shooting, this is really good. Just an overview, I'll explain later. And FX3 kind of excels at like a more professional setting where you have a control environment, when you want to rig it up, when you have people helping you, that works better. And to be honest, like most of these two, only like I would say 5% difference that made it better. So this one, the EVF, I've never used it. It's like people say EVF is a big change. Yes, it helps in the sunny weather, but to be honest, like the screen is also pretty good. So like I barely use EVF. The only difference is this handle. I swear to God, it's like a cheap thing. I know, of course, you can put a handle on the FX3, but this is a built-in one, and it actually feels really good. Like even with the lens on, run and gun, holding it, I've run into a lot of problem in terms of rigging for the A7S3. So first of all, this part, the top part is higher. It means if you put on like a handle and you put the monitor on top of the handle, it becomes really tall. It becomes tall that the center of gravity is kind of like it's off, and it's not like a boxy thing. And like the center of gravity is not in the center; it's leaning towards this side. So like it's really bad in terms of if you're trying to shoot it handheld, and if you put a V mount, if you put a matte box, you put all the heavy things on top like a photo focus, it starts to get in the way and it starts to not be really optimal. FX3 is better. So the Cine AI thing, I think Sony kind of fixed it by, first of all, now FX3 has the flexible ISO mode where you can still get the Cine AI thing with the auto ISO. FX3 used to have like the first page of the menu where you can adjust everything, and this one doesn't. But again, Sony kind of fixed it by putting that into this. And again, like I said, it's only like 5%. It doesn't mean this is like really bad. It just means it's like 5% more difficult than the FX3. So like I've been using these two cameras for a long time, and I've used FX3 for like a long time. I've also used this camera for a long time. So yeah, that's this one for now. So just information that this is all based on my personal experience. I have used all these gears mentioned for I think over a year now, almost like a year and a half. So I've been using it quite a lot. But again, this is limited to my own experience, like my kind of a smaller scale of production. So the second kind of prosumer product is the Ninja Shinobi and the Ninja 5. So these two are like two of the very popular options out there, I think. This one is my own, this one is David's. I've used this numerous of times. I've used this all the time. So they all have their ups and downs. Like I'm not here to tell you which one to buy, really. I like them both, that's why I use both. This only has HDMI in, that's it. So this is our on-camera monitor, that's it. But this one, because like a big thing is that we use Rivian as a wireless kind of a transmitter because we can't afford better ones. Anyway, so this one you can put it in, rip it out, and then you can give someone to monitor. This one, you can't. So once your team become a size of 2 to 3 people and you need like the DP or director to see the actual thing, this doesn't work anymore. Big deal breaker for me. This like big deal breaker. But again, I know a lot of people buy Ninja 5 for the external recording. But because of my production size and because of my experience, I've never really seen people use the external recording like on a practical basis. Like no one really uses it on a regular basis. I think it has to do something with the production size and if it's worth it. And I think for a lot of people, it's not worth it. So this was very light. The weight difference between these two is bigger than you thought. Like this is probably at least 2 times to 3 times the weight of this. Like, because this is all plastic and this is all metal. Build difference, but like again, weight is very important. You don't want to carry a very heavy camera. And then the other thing is that this, the battery, this one drains battery like crazy. This at least drains battery like without external recording, without anything, it drains battery about 2 times to 3 times more than this one. Yeah, so like I've never had to use V-bound battery on the Shinobi. I've always just used the MPF, but this one like probably V-mount. But oh yeah, and no SDI. Yeah, no SDI, kind of like a thing. But like I mean, if you're using SDI, you probably go for like a better one, like a small HD or something. The price difference is like a little bit minimal in terms of the value. But if you're just wanna like because you can't trust the camera, trust the screen on the camera, then this one is a pretty good on-camera monitor. Yep, that's it. Whew. This one and this one. This is less of a either or. You can obviously buy both, but from a person who doesn't have a lot of money, I had the choice of picking one. So this is the F22C. So first of all, these are all from Amaran. So far my favorite brand, love it. And these are all color. And this one is 300 watts, 300C. This one is F22C. I think the maximum output is like 250 watts. So a little bit less. So that's a cob, that's a panel. I just bought this like a month ago. And I've been using it for a few projects and I've been loving it. I've had this, I don't own this. This is like, I've used it because many of my friends has this and I've been using this on project like a lot. I've been using this over like a year. I was at the first trying to get this, but then everybody had one. So I was like, you know what, let's try something different. So I got this. So that's my choice for now. The reason why I got this one is because I need a soft source light for my own like YouTube video or my own project. I think hard light is a little bit easier to get, like sunlight, etc. Also because I didn't want to fill my house with a lot of gear, like all the softboxes, all the stuff. So I was like, this is small and compact. I like this idea. So that's kind of the thing. So the biggest difference is obviously, as you know, this can be a hard source, and this not so much. You can put on a lot of Bowen monitor on the modifier on this. You can't really put down like an actual modifier on this. You have to buy its own. You want to like kind of control the shape of the light, especially when you're trying to block it. This is a big panel, so you can't like, it's really hard to limit that shape into like into a place you want. Whereas this is really easy to do because again, it's a cob and you can just shape it with a modifier, with everything. It's really easy to shape. A pro for this one is that it's really easy to go overhead, to put an overhead kind of light source. Whereas if you want to do that, you have to put this on, you have to put a lantern or something, and then you have to put like I think it's called blanket or something, like the shield you put around the lantern. So which this is a lot harder to set up, where this is pretty easy to set up, boom, top, done. Obviously these are all pretty small for 300 watts. These are both pretty easy to set up, so to speak. One difference is this cannot be powered by V-mount. This can power it by V-mount, not for long, but you can power it by V-mount. Again, if you have the fortune enough to get both, I encourage you to get both. I think they are not like a replacement of each other, but if you have limited money and you're trying to pick one, it's up to you. Like it depends on your project, right? because I don't, again, I think hard light is a little bit more harder to master than soft light. Soft light, it's more pleasant and I can do a lot of things starting with this. So that's why I picked it. This one, really good in terms of production. We use it for a lot of stage light. We use it for a lot of edge. Because it's 300, and we used it. Yeah, so it's like a equivalent of 60 watts, but in production, in a bigger scale, right? If you have a 600, if you have a 1200D doing your key light, then you need like a 300 to do like those smaller harsh light, and this works really well. Yes, they do have a price difference. 700, 1200, quite a lot. But if you if you add 700 to about 200 on a softbox, it become about like 1,000 already. And again, give or take, if you want more a modifier, definitely this. If you don't want too much trouble, you want a light, you can slap it on and be really good. Pretty good. Both are colorful, and we do like color.